face. Can't call you up when it's late at night. Can't call it love, but at least we tried. Can't call you a friend when I'm in my head on a downhill dive. Can't call you cruel for changing your mind. I still can't call it a waste of time. I don't know what to call you if I...
Hello friends, it's Alexis and welcome to my full moon readathon vlog. First of all, I have to say how weird it is. I never wear my hair slicked back, but it is very dirty today because I'm planning on dyeing it later and I didn't want to wait until later to start this vlog. So this is what we're doing today. I feel a little bald. I feel like my head is not the right shape for this, but whatever. Moving past it, I am so excited to wish you all a happy first day of full moon readathon if you are participating. And if you're not, why not? If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will have Jan's announcement video linked below. But this is a readathon put on by the lovely Jan Agaton every single year in the month of August. This year it is week long and there are 8 different reading prompts we are trying to complete this week, along with 4 self-care activity prompts. So quick little rundown of my TBR. I did of course already talk about this in my August TBR pop video, but in case you missed it, I am trying to read 4 books this week, which is a little ambitious because I am also leaving on my annual camping trip tomorrow and you'll get to come along for that. But I feel like the 4 books that I picked are a good mix. We have 2 on the shorter side and 2 on the longer side, so hopefully I will have no problem finishing them this week. So first up this morning, you saw that I started with The Dinner by Herman Koch. I am using this for 2 different prompts. I think I'm using every book for 2 prompts because doubling up. So I know this is fitting for one of the Goblin prompts to read a book with a plot twist, and I think the Zombie prompt to read a book that's been on your TBR for over a year. Hopefully I'm correct because I don't feel like looking it up right now. But yes, so far this morning I have made it 28% of the way into the book. It's not too long of an audiobook. It's 9 hours. So my goal is to finish this entire thing today. Day 1, let's already knock 1 book off of the TBR, one of the shorter books, right? So I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll be able to do that because I have a lot to get done today. So I'll have a lot of time to listen to my audiobook while doing it. But quick little recap on what this one is about. The synopsis tells us that it's a summer evening in Amsterdam and 2 couples are meeting at this restaurant to discuss something that their sons have done. Something that has triggered a police investigation, some horrific act, and they're getting together to talk it out and figure out what to do. So far in this book, it has been very slow. This horrific act mentioned in the synopsis has not come up at all yet. So in this one, we are following a man named Paul. He is our narrator. He is married to a woman named Claire, and they are meeting up for dinner at this very, very fancy restaurant. Like you have to book 3 months in advance to get a table there type of restaurant, with his brother Serge and his wife Babette. And we find out that Serge is actually this very, very popular, important man. He's a politician running for office currently. So they're actually able to get into this restaurant without a reservation because like that's how important this guy is. So right away we're just already setting the scene for like the entitlement and like the wealth of these characters. And so far that's what the story has been about. We are in Paul's head and he is dreading this dinner. He does not like his older brother Serge at all. He thinks he is very full of himself. I'm honestly getting a lot of jealousy from Paul, but both of these men just feel very wealthy, entitled, and just complaining about how good their lives are. Those kinds of people. So right away, I'm not feeling very good about this book. I tend not to like rich people drama books unless those rich people are getting what they deserve in the end, if you know what I mean. So we'll see what ends up happening. It's just so far, this is really a story of very, very unlikable characters, which I think is the point. So I'm trying to keep an open mind while reading it. And I mean, honestly, so far, I'm not hating it. It's just kind of whatever. I'm just kind of listening to the drama unfold, listening to Paul's jealousy come out. Every word his brother speaks, everything that the waiter does, he is over analyzing it and overthinking it to the point where it's kind of exhausting. I just could not imagine living in this guy's mind. The just total unhappiness. And I also do think that's why I'm also just not loving this book. I don't like reading about miserable characters unless they deserve it, which, I mean, he does, right? But he is just so negative about everything. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm somebody who just appreciates what I have in life. I make the most of it. I romanticize my day-to-day, and he is so much the opposite of it. Me and him would not get along in real life, but that's fine. So that's where we are in this. I am excited to keep going with this, but right now I'm actually gonna pause because another book on the TBR, A Sunny Place for Shady People by Mariana Enriquez. This is a short story collection with 12 stories in it. So my goal is to read 2 stories a day, and I have not started that yet. So depending on how long the first story is, I might do one, I might do both. First one looks to be about 30 pages and the second one is 20 pages. So we'll see how I'm feeling. I'll probably do the first one now and then my second one for the day at bedtime. But this is a routine that I want to get into for the next 6 days of the readathon. Just reading at least one of these as soon as I wake up with my coffee. Obviously we're past that point, but tomorrow's a new day, and then reading one before bed probably. And then knowing me and knowing how busy camping is going to be for me, I have that extra day to catch up on the last day of the readathon if I do fall behind in this one. So that's the plan for right now. I'm gonna go read the first one and I will check in with you once I'm done with it.
Can't call it love, but at least we tried. Can't call you a friend when I'm in my head on a downhill dive. Can't call you cruel for changing your mind. I still can't call it a waste of time. I don't know what to call you if I can't call you mine. Can't call you up when it's late at night. Can't call it love, but at least we try. Can't call you a friend when I'm in my head.
What a good girl. I have just finished the first story. What was it called? My Sad Dead. And I decided to rate it 4 stars. I thought it was very good. It just didn't have the 5-star feeling. I liked the message a lot. So in this one, we are following a woman named Emma, and she is a retired doctor. And she has the ability to see ghosts. Oh, is it bath time? Blue! Close your legs, you're on the internet. So she has the ability to see ghosts and actually like help calm them down. So in this, the ghosts are very, very distressed. We first meet her mother, died in their house from cancer. So a lot of her mother's final moments were spent crying and in pain, and now coming back as a ghost, she is reliving those emotions and feelings and noises. So the ghost appears often crying, and Emma has a way to calm them down. She is just really skilled at talking to them and soothing them. So she ends up kind of becoming this go-to person in the neighborhood because Emma is not the only person that can see ghosts. This community is actually kind of plagued by them because there's such a high crime rate right now. There is just a lot of trouble going on. She lives in a very, very poor community, and there are a lot of gangs and kidnappings happening and just bad stuff. So unfortunately, there have been a lot of young people being killed as a result of this. We end up meeting up with 3 teenage girls who are ghosts, and then the story kind of comes to a climax and conclusion over this young boy named Matthias and his ghost. So I really did love the overall message of the story, why these hauntings were happening, and Emma's role in helping out the ghosts. And I like the choices she made at the end surrounding Matthias's ghost. Yeah, definitely a sad story based on the title. And I mean, Mariana Enriquez's writing is just beautiful. There were quite a few lines that I underlined and tabbed just because they were really, really good. Like one I can share, for example, that wasn't a spoiler is everything in the body is a process, including death. And yeah, the second half of the story, which I don't want to spoil anything, it really raises this moral question of what would you do in a situation like this? And so, yeah. Good stuff. I, unfortunately, am getting sleepy, and although it is a prompt for the readathon to take a nap, I don't want to do that today because I have a lot to do. So I think in favor of trying to stay awake and get my shit done, I'm going to switch to the audiobook for the dinner and go start packing for camping because we have a lot of stuff to do before we're leaving tomorrow afternoon. Hello. I am so incredibly sweaty, but I'm making really, really good progress. I feel like I almost have all of our camp stuff packed up. I really just have to charge some electronic devices. I have to do a few dishes and then like basically that's done. That's really great. Like I'm so impressed by myself last year. I just packed everything up really, really nicely and I made sure everything was like clean and organized so it was not a lot of work to do today, but I wanted to check in because we have finally gotten to the reveal of what the boys have done. Yeah, it's as expected. Unfortunately, it had to do with an unhoused person, and that's as far as I'm gonna go into it. I don't want to spoil anything. I also don't want to talk about this terrible, horrific, disgusting thing that they did. Just absolute, like, entitled teenage boys who have never been told no once in their life. Yeah, this is exactly something I would expect from them. And then we're finding out this isn't the first time, and they've been filming it and putting it up online. So just, not loving my time listening to this. I don't dislike the book, but I dislike the characters. The book has picked up and got a lot more interesting now, but the father's reaction when he finds out what his son did is just like, oh my God, I shouldn't have expected anything else. He is immediately trying to defend his son and be like, oh, well, that unhoused person shouldn't have been out on the streets. Like, they should go get a job. They should have a house. Disgusting. Disgusting thought process and behavior on this man's part. So if I was expecting the father to turn around it all and get his act together, I don't see that happening. So now we're just gonna see where it's going to go from here. The boys, like the synopsis mentioned, the police are involved now with these things they have been doing. So it's getting serious. And I think what we're going to get into now is why the parents are meeting for this dinner. And I'm assuming it's not going to be to come clean to the police that their children are the ones doing this. It's going to be to figure out a way to cover it up because they are just excellent parents, you know? So I have made it to the 54% mark of the book. I actually was kind of expecting myself to be farther along in it. I feel like I've been listening to it for a while. But yeah, let's see what happens in this next 50%. Still on track to finish it today. I still have lots of things to do, lots of errands to run later, so no worries there. And then the only other thing I was thinking I wanted to show you right now is the board games I'm bringing camping. Because, I don't know, I think it's fun. I have my little tote bin here. I have packed it full. Every year for camping, we try to bring at least one new game. So this year, it's going to be this one. Of course, I packed everything up like super tight, and now I'm gonna have to unpack it to show you. But this is called Ransom Notes. And I've seen people playing it on TikTok and it looks really funny, so we have that. Camping tradition is Telestrations After Dark. A fun one from last year is Incoherent. We have this one, it's called The Voting Game. Find out who your friends are. A little wordy. I think me and Dan played this once. It's like a word game very similar to Wordle, except you like make your own words for your opponent to figure out. Happy Salmon, also a camping tradition. This is like a game for children, but it is so fun. We have Wavelengths. Sorry, I'm not gonna pull this whole thing out. Munchkin is another one we always bring. Trekking is a new one this year that Dan and I have played a few times and really love. And of course, you know, our newest obsession is Wingspan, because we're bird people and we really like our birds, and this game is just really fun. So that's the lineup. We usually have at least one day where we just kind of sit around the campsite and play games all day. So lots of options. We have lots of people coming, so I'm excited. 72% check-in. This book is weird. Since we last spoke, we have not gone back to the actual dinner that's taking place. We're just getting flashbacks of the main character's basically mental break that he experienced a few years ago. So background into the character and the family dynamics and all that. But right now I'm taking a very exciting break because Taylor Swift is about to be on the New Heights podcast announcing her new album. The 30-second timer just popped up, so let's go.
Do I get to say it? Do I get to say? I get to say the 2 words? Yes.
First of all, you can do whatever you want to. I don't know. This is very much
within the framework of the podcast. I'm a fan of podcasts.
Typically, you would allow the guests to say new news.
Yeah, allow it.
I think Taylor has a little bit of new news. Yay! Welcome back. Do you guys want it?
Yep. This is my brand new album.
We got 2 guests to go, baby.
This is my brand new album. It's called The Life of the Showgirl. It was something that I was working on while I was in Europe on the Eras tour.
Hello. Big jump scare with how dark my hair is. Oh my god. I mean, I like it, but like, this is the first time really looking at myself. Turned out dark. Hi. We did not talk anymore yesterday because we decided to go out and run all of our errands last night instead of this morning. Are there people up on that roof? Look at them.
Yeah.
Distracted. So we decided to go out and run all of our errands yesterday instead of this morning, thinking that it would give us more time and we'd be like on time leaving for our trip today. That did not happen. We are leaving very, very late. So last night after getting home from the grocery store, where else did we go? The liquor store, the flower store. We got everything we needed for our trip. We got home and we put everything away and worked on packing. And then I very much remember we sat down on the couch and we said, we're just gonna sit here for a few minutes and then we're gonna get up and keep working. And we both fell asleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. So I did end up, after getting up off the couch and getting into bed, I was more awake. So I did read the second story in A Sunny Place for Shady People. And actually, I read the title story and I really ended up liking it the same amount as the first one. So I'm going to go with a 4-star rating. It was very, very good. It was actually about the Elisa Lam case. If you guys are into true crime and haven't heard of that one, look it up. It's very creepy. It is still unsolved to this day. And in that story, the main character was kind of like a journalist for this like true crime website. So she was doing a piece on this group of people that meet there every single night at the water tank where Elisa's body was found. And they hold basically like a seance to try to connect to Elisa's ghost and ask her what really happened. So far, this is our second story about ghosts. She also weaved in the main character's experience with an ex-boyfriend that struggled with addiction and losing him. And it was just so beautifully done. And I really enjoyed it because that is a true crime case that I know a lot about and that I'm very interested in. So yeah, that was good. And then so far today has just been so insanely busy. I got up early and I dyed my hair and then I don't know what happened to time. We are leaving so much later for camping than we meant to, but we'll get there eventually. And we're on the road now. And my plan right now is to finish listening to the audiobook for the dinner because I also did not do that yesterday. So a lot of the same thoughts with that one. Nothing new has happened. We're still really just doing a deep dive into the father character and kind of why his son turned out the way he did and did this horrible thing that they've done. And I'm really curious on where it's going to go, what they're going to decide to do, if they're going to have the boys come clean about what they did, or if the parents are going to work to cover it all up. So we will see, and I'll probably check in with you guys once we get to the campsite. not get to talk at all yesterday after we got here and got the camp set up, because that is a long, tiring process. And plus I'm camping with a bunch of people and I don't really want to pull out the camera to talk about books right in front of them. So there is a chipmunk rustling around behind me. Okay, so this is the first chance I've gotten to really talk to you and let you know that I finished the dinner yesterday on the drive down, and I've decided to go with a 2.5 star rating. I think technically I feel more like a 2.75, but I don't do quarter star ratings. Like, it's bad enough that I do half stars. So yeah, 2.5. It was a fine book. It was well written. It really is just the main character was so insufferable, and I know that is the point, but it was to the point that it made the book less enjoyable for me. It's definitely not my normal kind of book. I wouldn't call it like a mystery thriller. There were some mystery parts to it, you know, some things were revealed, so I do still feel okay using it for the plot twist prompt that I was using it for, because there were definitely some twisty things revealed and I really liked that aspect. But this book is more so, I would call it like a mystery literary fiction. It really looked at just humanity and the way people treat others, and it really, I think, questioned nurture versus nature. Just really looked at like the psychology behind people, which you think, me having a degree in psychology, I would find this more interesting and enjoyable than I did. But it was just like a really bad person doing really bad things and then like justifying these bad things. It was like looking at the darker side of humanity, people who don't care about others, and I find that really icky. I don't like reading about that kind of stuff. It reminded me a lot of The Stranger by Albert Camus, I hope that's the right author. But that book was really, it was about the same thing. It was questioning humanity. In that book, the main character does something very similar to in this one, and is really just like justifying like it's human nature to be violent, to be mean towards others. And I personally feel differently. So if you're into that kind of discussion, I think this could be a good book for you. Like I said, well written and all that. It just like the characters made it unenjoyable. And I'm somebody who needs to like the characters, or at least like understand why they're unlikable. Like, this was the degree of unlikable that was just too much for me. So there's my rating there. That's knocking off 2 prompts. So really, really good progress there. As for the other books, I have brought my Kindle, which has Pestilence and A Sunny Place for Shady People in it. And then I did bring my physical copy of Staircase in the Wood, because the wait time for the ebook for that one was way too long. The Staircase in the Woods is definitely my priority this week, because obviously I want to read a spooky book about the woods, in the woods. So probably start that later tonight. I am behind on A Sunny Place. I started the short story for yesterday, but I don't know if I was just too tired or if the writing in that one really is as confusing as I was finding it, but I had no idea what was going on. So I stopped reading halfway through that story, and I'll be picking it up again. Right now, we're just hanging out at the camp. We have a few more people joining us today. So in about an hour, we're gonna go down to like the main entry where we have phone service and stuff, meet up with our people, and then we're probably going to go down to the lake and do kayaking and swimming and all that, because it is very hot today. But yeah, that means I have about an hour now that I'm going to spend getting caught up on A Sunny Place for Shady People. I hate that that title is so long. I'm just going to start calling it A Sunny Place. You'll know what I'm saying. So I have some time now to do that, and then when we're by the lake, I will definitely have time to read over there. So it sounds like a good plan, and now that the hard part and everything is set up, we should have some more time to talk.
Bad traffic ain't a waste of time. When you were there to hold my hand, but I've had it with the 405. You said I'd missed my last chance, but I know that you've been asking about me. If I tried though to get you back, would you let me? It might take some time to change your mind, but maybe everything we can make it right. This take me back in your eyes, blinking at me like a caution light. I wonder if you see it. I don't really need a single other reason to make you mine. It if I took you for a top-down drive? Just you and me and an empty road. Maybe I can make it cross your mind. Jump back in, baby, go, go, go. Oh, I know that you've been asking about me.
Hello. We finally have a chance to talk again because everybody went to play some frisbee and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay here and read. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to focus on The Staircase in the Woods today. Get a little bit into it. I started it yesterday and I read one chapter, so 10 pages. It was good, but I wanted to do a little check-in on A Sunny Place because I have finished 2 more of the stories. So I ended up finishing the one I told you I was a little like not really feeling confused by. That was Face of Disgrace. I think I'm gonna go with a 2-star rating for that one. Like, it just never got easier to understand. And again, I don't know if it was me that I was tired when I started it, so I missed something important, or if it just wasn't written the best. Like, obviously her writing's incredible, but I just feel like I was very confused on who we were following. There were too many characters that I didn't know where they were coming from or how they were related. Trigger warnings for sexual assault, like that's mainly what it was about. This character experienced that in their past, and then like their face was disappearing. So after that I read Julie, and that one was also very strange, but I liked it more. It was easier to understand. It was about this woman, our main character, and her cousin's name was Julie. And Julie was going through some mental health struggles, so she was coming to stay with the main character's family to seek some medical help in Buenos Aires. And there were ghosts involved in that one. It was a much different story than the rest of them so far. Julie was getting quite comfortable with the ghosts, if you know what I mean. It was kind of funny, actually, like not expected to be reading that subject matter. So I haven't thought about what I want to give that one. It wasn't scary, it was just bizarre. So I think maybe a 3-star feels right. Like, it was fine, it was good, I guess, but definitely not a favorite in here. So now I am in the middle of Nightbirds. I started this yesterday, but as I said, I'm not gonna continue with this anymore. I'm gonna switch over to Staircase in the Woods because I do want to read a little bit of that while I'm still in the woods. So I have time today. I have time tonight, actually. So actually, turn of events. Dan and I always go camping from Thursday afternoon until Monday morning. Usually we have a few people that stay that entire time with us. Some people come down Friday night after work. Some people leave Sunday to work on Monday. But we've always kind of had at least somebody stay with us until Monday. This year, it's just gonna be me and him tonight, all alone in the woods. It'll be fun. It'll honestly be a nice break. I love camping, but it is so much work, and it is so much work to feel like I need to take care of everybody. For the most part, my friends are self-sufficient, but there's always a few that just always need something, and just feeling like I have to be like babysitting, making sure we get all the food away at night so no animals get into it. So yeah, it'll just be a lot more chill tonight. I'll have more time to read because obviously I won't feel like I need to like hang out with people I never see because I see boring Dan all the time. But no, he's excited to spend the night reading and stuff too because we really haven't gotten much time to relax and do that. Speaking of animals, we haven't had any close encounters this year. No bears yet. We'll see about tonight. Maybe they'll come around because there won't be as many people to scare them off. We've seen black bears in the past and they're very like, you just yell at them and they go. They're a little too comfortable with people, but they're still scared enough that they do listen when you tell them to get out of here. But we did have a skunk bugging us. So the first night, as we were getting everything set up, some people didn't know the rules of camping that you can't leave food unattended at night. So something got into a bunch of our food, not mine, but my friends. They lost a whole loaf of bread, a whole thing of hamburger rolls, an onion for some reason, and like their bags were shredded. So something got into it. I think a raccoon, but we haven't seen any raccoons. We know for sure there's a skunk hanging out because the second night, skunk came back and was like walking along the tree line around the campsite. So we actually had to yell at it to get out of here. And it did. It's just the animals around here are way too comfortable with humans because they see them so often. And then on day 2, it was daytime this time, but we all left. Somebody left some food out, and once again, something got into it. I know there was a broken jar of salsa involved, and I think more food was taken. So luckily none of my food has disappeared because we're a little more experienced at this. We know the rules. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it'll just be so much easier tonight, just having to worry about myself and the boys. The boys are here. They're on their little camp bed. All right, but I've already talked for way too long, so I'm gonna start reading this thing now before everybody gets back.
Can't call you up when it's late at night. Can't call it love, but at least we try. Can't call you a friend when I'm in my head on a downhill dive. Can't call you cruel for changing your mind. I still can't call it a waste of time. I don't know what to call you if I can't call you mine.
Look at him. You're the size of my hand. What are you doing? He's like, I was trying to hop across the path until you picked me up. I love him. Good boy. Hey, Mellows. I'm laying back like this because it's the best possible lighting I can get under these lights. Because look at this. This is terrible. So we're going to do this update laying down. I am about to go to bed as soon as the fire goes out for the night. But I wanted to update you because I have made it to 100 pages of this. And I really like that Charlie Swan is poking his little head out. I really like this so far, and I'm like actually so excited to keep reading it right now and then like to get into bed and keep reading it even though I'm exhausted. It's really good, and having the atmosphere around me of being in the woods while these characters are also hiking through the woods is so good. It had a little bit of a slow start getting to know the characters, and I was a little bored. So back to the beginning, we start out with our first perspective of a character named Owen. Right now it seems like we're flipping between 2 main perspectives, but then there's also sort of like a third-party perspective in a few short chapters. So we're mainly in the head of Owen, a woman named Lore, and then we also get to know 2 other characters named Nick and Hamish, and they are all friends, or were friends in high school, college, and then they kind of broke up after something happened. They've drifted apart. They just have completely different lives now. So we meet up with Owen in the first chapter, and he gets a call from Lore telling him to check his email because they all got an email from Nick, who used to be part of this friend group. And in the email, Nick tells them that he has been diagnosed with cancer and doesn't have long to live, so he wants to have one last get-together of the 4 of them, the 4 remaining. We know from the synopsis that their friend Maddie, the 5th member of their group, disappeared in the woods when they were younger. I actually, going into this, I thought it was like elementary school age that he went missing, but no, it was like junior year of high school. They were all juniors when this happened. So right away, that's just like, I don't know, more interesting to me. So the friends get together at a place of Nick's choosing, and he starts leading them through the woods and says that they're going to go camping together one last time. Of course, when they get to the spot that Nick has chosen, the stairs are there. The stairs in the woods that their friend went up so many years ago that nobody has been able to find since. Like literally their friend has been missing 4 years. How did Nick find these stairs? We don't know, but he has gathered them there to, I'm assume, climb the stairs and finally find their friend. So that's super, super creepy. And then we flash back in time to the night that Maddie went missing, and we're getting to know them as teenagers. The part I just stopped at, the 100-page mark, they were kind of like partying in the woods. They were like the bad kids. So this was like a common thing their friend group would do. And then just like the synopsis tells us, they one day come across these stairs. Maddie goes up them, disappears. But I'm really, really enjoying the flashback chapters of them as teenagers. I really like their dynamic. I like getting to know their friend group. In the present day chapter, the one guy, Owen, the one who we're getting a lot of his perspective, he is so whiny and annoying, and I can't stand him. So reading about him as a teenager, I'm liking him more back then. There's still little bits where I'm like, okay, he's kind of annoying because like there's this whole love triangle thing going on, but I'm definitely liking the teenager chapters a lot more. So I'm excited to see what happens when Maddie climbs up the stairs, if anything happens, because even as adults, they haven't really talked about it. They did mention like the police investigation that happened and how they all came up with a story to make sure it matched. So I'm just questioning what they're trying to cover up and why. What are you doing? Hello, I'm home. I was literally coming in to say happy last day of the readathon, and just today, Tuesday, August 19th, I realized that the readathon goes one more day until the 20th. Like literally, I had it marked wrong in my planner. I had it marked wrong on my calendar. I went to tune in to Jan's last sprints of the readathon, and I was surprised because I know she usually works Tuesdays, but whatever. And then I realized that it doesn't start for 24 hours because the last sprints of the readathon are actually tomorrow on Wednesday. So unfortunately, I will not be able to attend those sprints because I am back to work tomorrow. But wow, best news ever because we have some books to finish. So since I've been home, yesterday, we're not even going to talk about, I did nothing reading wise. I laid on the couch. I took 2 naps. I did a tiny little bit of unpacking and cleaning. We went grocery shopping. It was just the laziest, most relaxing, best day ever. Exactly what I need after camping. And then I took today off of work in anticipation that today would be the getting shit done. So as you saw earlier, I was in goblin mode, and it fits perfectly because I get to use it to check off a prompt of doing something around the house. And now the house is looking better. It's not 100% done yet, but the living room is cleaned up, and then the kitchen, I have the camping stuff stacked behind me, but like the middle of the floor is clean. So that's a big improvement. So I'm just now waiting on a few things to get out of the laundry. Then I can pack them up in my totes and they can go back into the attic for next year. So proud of myself. Usually we're really bad at getting cleaned up after camping and things just sit around for a few days, if not weeks. So yeah, we're getting it done right away because once again, August does not stop. I'm leaving for another trip this Friday, but this is just an overnight trip. So it'll be a lot faster and less prep work and more relaxing, I think. But back to this vlog and this readathon we're currently in the middle of. I have some updates on A Sunny Place for Shady People. I am most definitely finishing this today. I picked up the audiobook and that's what I was listening to while cleaning earlier. I just took about an hour break and scrolled Instagram. So now I am ready to keep going. I have the back part of the house to do, which should be faster. That's the hallway, my office, and the bathroom. So a lot smaller of rooms. Plus, like getting the camping stuff put away was the big thing to do. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going and finish it as I finish cleaning. But we have some stories to talk about. So I went through and I added in my star ratings of everything we haven't talked about yet. So going back to story number 5 called Nightbirds, and this would have been everything I've listened to so far today. So Nightbirds I started while we were still camping. I was reading it a little bit around the fire and I was getting confused again. I think it's a me problem. I think I was reading when I was too tired, but I ultimately decided to go with a 3-star rating for that one. I liked parts of it, but altogether it did not feel like a cohesive story. Like it just felt very, very disconnected. So in this one, we are following 2 sisters and the narrator is the younger sister, and she has some sort of disease where her skin is rotting off of her body. It doesn't smell and it's not leprosy. They don't know what it is. She is just rotting and she basically can't feel any pain, which was a really cool aspect of the story, a really cool illness to look at because she was essentially locked in the house all the time. She couldn't go out because her physical appearance scared others, a lot like another story in this book. So catching a theme there. But along with that, there was like this B plot of the sister, and she lied a lot and made up stories, and she was a painter and a composer and just a very eccentric person, and she ends up running away or something. But then also there's another plot within this story of women who turn into birds. So a lot going on. Maybe this story was just too smart for me. I feel like whatever the meaning was, it was going over my head. So I ended up liking one of the 3 kind of stories within the story. So 3 stars for that one. Next up, we had Metamorphosis, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars because of just how gross body horror it was. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot different than the other stories we've read so far. Our main character in that one was an older woman. She was going through menopause and she was getting surgery to remove a growth from her uterus or something, or she might have had a hysterectomy and they found the growth. It was something like that. And just exploring her obsession with this growth after it's removed from her body was really cool. It was pretty unhinged, but I liked the ending of that one a lot. I also just liked the main character. She was very funny, kind of bitter at the world. Then we had Hyena Hymns, and I gave that one 3.5 stars because it's kind of just like a forgettable story for me. I'm now, it's been a few hours since I listened to it. I didn't dislike it while I was listening to it, but I really can't tell you what was happening in it. I know we followed a gay male couple. They were visiting one of their families staying at their parents' house, and these hyenas escaped from the zoo after a fire, and then something weird happened in a cave where they were being tortured. I just don't really know, nor can I remember how it all kind of meshed together. It feels like another one where there was just so much going on in the story. I don't know how it all connected, but I didn't dislike it. So 3.5 for that one. And then after that one, we got my favorite so far of the day, Different Colors Made of Tears. This one was so fun, and I think it's one that you should go into not knowing what to expect, not knowing anything about it. It was really, really cool. It had some aspects of body horror. It was about these cursed dresses that were sold to this vintage shop. Not something I've read about before, and I really, really enjoyed that one, and just like the little bits of body horror that was in that story too. After that, we had The Suffering Woman. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This one was also a little confusing. It was about a woman who got a text from a wrong number. I don't know. I'm not selling these very well. It's like the ones that I get, I'm loving, but a lot of them are just confusing me and I don't really know what happened in them. I know she was getting texts from a wrong number and she was becoming really, really obsessed. Illnesses, cancer specifically, and like looking up the stuff. And yeah, I can't really remember where that one went or how it ended. So I gave it 3.5 stars, but now I feel like maybe it should have been like 2.5, because like I can't tell you what happened in that one. But the last one that I just listened to, The Refrigerator Cemetery, I do remember that one, and that's a 4-star one. Sorry, my battery died as I was talking about the last thing I had to tell you about. So this one, The Refrigerator Cemetery, is about this like junkyard where everybody would dump their old refrigerators, and like urban legends of why you shouldn't play in them because like kids get stuck in them and die. And it was really good, well written. I really liked just the direction it took and the ending. Like, it was spooky. There's definitely not everything in this story is giving me like the scary vibes. It's all horror because of the subject matter, but like that one was genuinely a scary story, and I like that mix. So we have 2 more short stories to go. After this one, of course, we still have to finish The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. I did not read any more since we last spoke, so that'll be a big project for today/tomorrow. Fit check, because I am going out with my work friends. Home now, and we ordered takeout from my favorite restaurant, so I'm so excited to eat all of this delicious food. And then I think the plan for tonight is to read as much as I can of The Staircase in the Woods. I did not download the audiobook earlier. I did finish A Sunny Place for Shady People, which I'm now realizing I have to tell you my final review of those last 2 stories, but I'm too hungry to do that right now. So I'm gonna eat, but I will see you soon for that review. I'm back to give you my final thoughts on this one. So A Local Artist was the next short story in the collection, and that one was fine. It had creepy moments. I think overall I'm gonna go with a 3-star rating. The thing is, I could not get the chocolate woman from SpongeBob out of my head. Once the creepy thing was revealed, tell me it wasn't just that woman. So that took me out of the story a little bit. Aw, Poe, you want to cuddle? It is bedtime, and he knows it's time for bed. Yeah, you ready for bed? Okay, one more short story, Poe. The next one was Black Eyes. That one is also going down as one of my favorites from the collection, 5 stars. It was genuinely scary. Like, I'm really happy that some of these stories were actually scary stories. Creepy enough that I felt chills while listening to this one. It was about these children with black eyes, and there was a scene where they were running on all 4s, chasing after the narrator's car, and that's some nightmare fuel. That is some creepy imagery, along with a lot of other stuff that happened. It was definitely a really solid way to end this collection, and one of my favorites. So I have to go through, whenever I rate short story collections like this, I take an average of all of the ratings, but I don't remember what I rated 3 of them, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch my footage to remind myself. So I'll post it on the screen now what I ended up rating this one, but overall it was good. Not as good as her full-length novel, which I knew going into it. I just tend to not love short story collections, but this was a pretty solid one. For the most part, I enjoyed all of the stories, and there were even some that I really, really enjoyed. I think my problem is that I just can't get into short stories. Like, they're not long enough for me to get to know the characters and get to know, like, the different dynamics and stuff. And, like, yeah, it's fun for short horror because, like, you get the scare and then it's over. But for a book to be effective with me, I just need it to be longer. I need to get to know people. I'm tired, so I'm getting ready for bed. I gotta get my stuff ready for work tomorrow, and I gotta read a little bit of The Staircase in the Woods. So I will see you in the morning. Good morning. I do not want to work today. It's the first day back after a week-long vacation. I don't want to do it, and it's raining, and I don't want to work in office, and I'm just gonna complain to you because I just want to keep listening to the audiobook of The Staircase in the Woods. Getting really, really good right now because they have ascended the staircase. They're in some other world dimension, something like that. We don't know any details yet. It's creepy and it's really, really good. And I'm so sad that I don't just get to listen to it all day. So I'm gonna go in. Hello. Me again from the car. Sorry for the terrible lighting. It is 8 o'clock at night and I just survived a about 12-hour day. I didn't work the entire time. We stopped working at like 4:30 and then we went out to eat with everybody. So, you know, I don't want to complain too hard, but it's a long day for me and a long day of socializing. So you know what we do when we have a tough day being an adult? We get ourselves a treat. And it works out because I have not treated myself yet for the spider prompt. Catching something in my web, I think, is the official wording. So you know where we are? We're at Barnes. Been a little while since I've treated myself to a book. I've been very, very good. So I had to stop in to get Chuck Tingle's newest release, Lucky Day, that I will be trying to read in September. So yeah, I even ordered ahead so I wouldn't be tempted to buy anything else, but you know we're still gonna look around. So let's go.
I wonder if I changed my number. Would you wanna know? It's the coldest kind of comfort that we could talk, but we don't. We spent summer swimming in a sunset haze, technicolor, crazy how fast it fades.
Look what I got. And I was a little bad, but not as bad as I could have been, because at one point I almost bought 2 more books, but then I put them back because like I could literally get them from my library. So I'm gonna head home now and try and get as far as I possibly can into The Staircase in the Woods. A little nervous. Also, I just noticed there are pigs on the back of this. I love them. Look at them. Okay, I'm gonna go home now. Good morning. I failed the full moon readathon. Well, I didn't fail. I still got some characters, but I did not finish our final book that we were trying to finish, The Staircase in the Woods. I got to 72% last night. I tried. Okay, this is her morning routine. It's like assault me with her tail. I got to 72%. It says I have 3 hours and 51 minutes left of the audiobook. I tried my absolute best. I got home yesterday from the training. I fell asleep for an hour and then I woke up and I stayed up until 2 a.m. listening to the audiobook. But I still want to give you guys my final thoughts, so I'm going to finish it real quick this morning. I'm hoping while I'm working I'll be able to listen to it, and then I can wrap this thing up and let you know what we ended up completing, because I have not looked at the prompts again since the beginning of this, so I don't even know. I think I've done all of the activities. I was on top of those. Thoughts about what I read yesterday. I've kind of like almost hit a wall with it where I'm sort of bored and just waiting for something to happen. So I think the last time we spoke, I was really enjoying it because they were just about to go up the stairs, or they just did, and it was getting really creepy. So they end up entering this house almost, which now the Evernight edition makes a lot of sense. Like all of the rooms on the cover are in the book. So that's really, really cool. I love the Evernight edition even more now for that attention to detail. So this big chunk of the book that I listened to yesterday has just been them going room to room to room, seeing these horrific things, looking for Maddie, looking for a way out, and it's starting to get repetitive. I'm starting to get a little bored. I feel like they're not even spending enough time on the horrific things. Like, there are really terrible things they're encountering in the rooms, but it goes by so fast, you don't have a chance to absorb it and know what's going on. Like, I mean, rightfully so, it's, they open the door, they see something scary and they slam it, but like, I want a minute to like bask in it, to like realize what's going on. Even with that, I'm not not enjoying it. I'm just a little bored. It is very much giving Stranger Things vibes with like the kids going into the Upside Down in season 1, or even the last season where, did they go into the Upside Down again? I don't remember, but you know, like going into this alternative dimension almost. It's kind of giving, what is it, Kill Creek by Scott somebody? Is that the name of that book? Okay, Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, which I had some problems with that book, but the almost like haunted house maze thing is very similar. So I would say this is like a better version of that one. And just like having this group of people that's very, very similar. I think there were other things I was thinking of last night too. Oh, just it always reminds me of Stephen King, Chuck Wendig's writing, which isn't a bad thing, but it's very reminiscent of like it, with the group of friends that were friends since childhood coming back as adults. I think I covered everything. I am excited to see where it goes, see what happens, and what I'm not excited for is to work, but whatever, at least I have my audiobook to keep me company. So I'm gonna get to work, I'm gonna get to listening, and I will let you know when I finish it.
It's the coldest kind of comfort that we could talk, but we don't. We spent summer swimming in a sunset haze, technicolor, crazy how fast it fades. Can't call you up when it's late at night. Can't call it love, but at least we tried. Can't call you a friend when I'm in my head on downhill dive.
I have finished my work day, I have finished my book, I have finished the full moon readathon, and now it's time to finish this vlog. So let's talk about this ending. I obviously will not be going into any spoilery details. I don't do that if I don't warn you ahead of time. Sure, Onyx, now is the best time to play with your loudest toy. Can you hold off for like 5 minutes? Onyx, come here. Come here. Okay. All right. So, the ending. I liked it. Thinking about it now that it's been a few hours since I finished it, I do have maybe a few problems, some things I would have done differently. Overall, I like how it wrapped up. This is where, like, I would love to go into spoilery details of how I wish it had been done differently, but at the end of the day, it was a solid book. I think I'm gonna go with a 4-star rating. There were definitely parts of it that felt like 5 stars, and then there were parts of it that felt like 3 stars. Mainly that middle section I was telling you earlier got to be a little repetitive, a little boring. So I think 4 stars feels good. Chuck Wendig is just a solid horror writer. I think I gave the Book of Accidents 4 stars. So yeah, I don't think he's a favorite author of all time. I don't know if he really has the ability to get a 5-star rating from me, but he is writing good stuff, and I know for some people he is going to be a 5-star author. So, still excited to pick up more from him. I've had Black River Orchard on my TBR forever, and that one sounds very, very interesting to me. His books are big, so they're intimidating, but I should get to that one sooner rather than later. I stand by all my comparisons I was making earlier. It has the biggest Stranger Things vibe, so if you're a fan of that show, I think this could really work for you. It's Stranger Things, but make it more horror than sci-fi. There's not really anything sci-fi going on in these books, but still just a really fun group of friends. Really the main message of the story is friendship and loving each other and not giving up on your friends. But now the exciting part, we get to talk about what I completed, because I actually think I somehow completed all of the character prompts. We'll talk about it. I might be cheating on one, but you know, it's just a readathon. It doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. I can bend the rules a little bit. So I looked through the prompts ahead of time because remember, I haven't actually looked at them since I built my TBR, and I only ended up reading 3 of the 4 books I had planned on. So first up, for the Grim Reaper, I originally thought I wasn't gonna be able to complete the first prompt to read a book you could use as a weapon because I needed something over 400 pages. And this Evernight edition is 380 something. Wait, what? Oh my God, I was looking. You know what? I'm counting it. Okay, so I was looking on Goodreads, and yes, this book is officially 388 pages, but there's a bonus chapter. So it's actually 404 pages. 404. We did it. Oh my God. See, I was gonna bend the rules and be like, well, the Evernight edition is 388, but I think the traditionally published cover is over 400. I don't even have to do that because the edition I read, over 400 pages. Yay. Okay, so I think this means I got all the characters. Prompt number 1, checked off with Staircase in the Woods. Prompt number 2, a book involving death. A Sunny Place for Shady People. You can't have ghosts without death. That book was all about ghosts, all about the supernatural, so death. And for our activity prompt, I took quite a few naps during the readathon, so definitely check that one off. Moving over to the spider card, first up we have a creepy book. Once again, we will use Staircase in the Woods for that. It was the most forward horror book I read this week. A book involving the number 8, we're gonna go with A Sunny Place for Shady People because the author, Mariana Enriquez has 8 letters in her last name. And then for the activity prompt, of course you came along for that one, Capture Something in My Web, but we went to Barnes & Noble and I got 2 books. Moving down to the zombie prompt, here is again where I had to make some substitutions. I don't love using the same book for both prompts here, but again, it's a readathon, it's for fun. It's not that serious. So for both prompts, we're gonna go with The Dinner by Herman Koch. I know it already feels like a lifetime ago that I read this book, so I'm counting it for the slow burn pace. I did originally want to read a slow burn romance for this, but ran out of time. So I would definitely count the beginning of this book as very slow burn. And then Bring a Book Back to Life. I've had it on my TBR for over a year. And Use Your Brain. I did not film this, but we played quite a few games at camping. I know a lot of those games don't really involve brain power. They were on the sillier side, but that night during camping when it was just me and Dan, we did play 2 games of chess, which that is definitely using your brain because it's been years since I've played chess. And then finally, moving on to the last character, the Goblin. So again, another one for Staircase in the Woods, to read an ugly cover with an intriguing premise. Next up for the Trickster prompt, keeping that as originally planned. I read The Dinner for that one. While it wasn't as thrillery, twisty as I originally thought going into it, there were some reveals and a few shocking moments. Really just me being appalled at the behavior being displayed in this book. And of course, last up, I did complete the House Goblin prompt. I did a lot of work around this house during this vlog. I had to pack for camping and then unpack for camping. That is going to be it, friends. We have successfully completed another year of the Full Moon Readathon. I'm already so excited for next year. I love hearing about the characters that Jan comes up with and the prompts she puts with them. Always super, super fun. And I love a readathon that incorporates self-care. And having prompts that I don't necessarily have to read a book for is a really good bonus. I, of course, have to shout out Jan for all of the hard work she puts into this every year. If you guys don't follow her, her announcement video is linked below. Go check it out. That way you're prepared for next year when we do this again. But thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. I think it's pretty obvious our emoji of the video is gonna have to be the full moon. So you can leave me that in a comment below if you'd like me to know you were here. And if you did participate in the Full Moon Readathon this week, let me know what your favorite book is. I think based on ratings, The Staircase in the Woods was my favorite. A little sad we didn't get a 5-star read, but overall, we had 3 solid books, so I can't be too mad about it. As always, friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope you read a good book today, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye.